back to the MMA Split Pick Show, our second of the year, but our first for a pay-per-view card. Brazil, UFC 283 is here. I am Matt, very excited about this card, joined as always by co-host Josh.
How's it going, everybody? Yeah, man, this is also going to be the first card where we have any separation. Not a lot of separation, but we have some separation.
Well, we wiped the slate clean for the new year. Anybody who didn't watch our pick show for Imavov versus Strickland would not be aware that me and Josh were identical, pick for pick. There was a worry when you sent your picks that I was going to be as well. Fortunately, I've had more faith in the true great Scotsman, the Bear Jew, than you have had. And I'm going a little different on the main event as well. We'll be discussing all of that. It's a terrific pay-per-view card to kick off the year. Much needed after a absence. Obviously, we've just had a fight night card, but do watch our podcast where we discuss it. It pretty much only got a 6 out of 10 for us. And this has got the big names. 2 title fights, a quadrilogy, a tetralogy, I believe it is referred to, as well as some excellent matchups, some fun fights, one retirement fight for certain, apparently, question mark, it's Shogun, you never know. So lots to discuss. Guys, like the video if you are enjoying the content, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, comment in the comment section, feel free to leave your picks and predictions. And just a little note, we are going to be shifting across, as we have talked about many times, across the last few months, to our new channel, which will be called the MMA Split Podcast. This video will be dropped on the old channel, and then from next week, we'll be dropping our videos on this current channel and our new channel. And then in the next few weeks, eventually we will phase out and be fully across on the new channel and platform. Subscribe to that one. Links will be dropped in the description for next week's videos onwards. All of that's out the way. Let's talk about our main event, put together in 5 minutes by Dana White after his sheer frustration and disappointment at Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz being a draw in December at UFC 282. We've got Glover Teixeira, the former champion, fighting Jamal Hill, who has just stumbled his way into this opportunity, and fair fucking play to the guy. Josh, what's your thoughts on this one?
This is a hard fight to pick. Glover can't fuck around with Hill the same way he did against Yuri, you know. That was a perfect kind of style matchup that made for an all-out war. If he gives the same kind of openings to Hill, he's going to get starched. He wants to keep this fight very close, either on the mat, up against the cage, or, you know, really just kind of circling out. I don't think he really wants to get into too many kind of exchanges out in the open here. I think speed is very much against him on this one. I just think you have a nice, smart game plan. So hard to call. I'm going to give it to Glover, just assuming there's no major drop off. You know, he is a little older than last time out. And I know you did think that there was like rumors of an injury during this camp, right? So assuming that he's fit and healthy, I'm thinking Glover.
I had mutterings of an injury. There's so many reasons why this is hard to call. It's in Brazil. Glover's fighting in Brazil. He's going to have the crowd behind him like he's never had them before. Jamal Hill will never have experienced what it is like to fight a Brazilian in Brazil before having to fight for the world title against a pretty dangerous guy and a potentially bad style matchup for him. I think you're right. This is all about proximity. If Glover can close the distance and get this fight to the ground, I do not think Jamal's going to have the takedown defense to be able to survive the way that Yuri could kind of roll and scramble and kind of be in terrible positions, but find a way to get out of it. Like you say, though, the major difference is Yuri was trying really hard to be light on his feet, was in constant movement to try and not get taken down in that Glover fight. And as a result, it wasn't that often that he was able to plant his feet and really land anything with big power. And that gave Glover the opportunity to kind of bob and weave and get close and have his opportunities to take the fight to the mat. Jamal Hill's hand speed is so fast that I think he's going to be far more willing to plant his feet and just land uppercuts, land hooks, look for his opportunities and make the most of it. I can really see like an Anthony Rumble Johnson type situation here. I could see Hill starching him really early. And I think if this fight is going to go Hill's way, it's got to be in the first couple of rounds, in my opinion. I think if it gets past that, Glover will have been able to get through the worst of it, will have worn him down a little bit, started beating him up, and I think Glover will win this. But I am backing Hill to get it done against the old vet who might have just taken one hit too many in that war against Yuri last year. Maybe has fought his last great fight. Maybe just doesn't quite have the durability he used to, and comes up against a guy that is just a bit too young and fast. And to be honest, probably doesn't deserve to be in this opportunity. But hey, man, you make the opportunities that you take the most. Sorry, you make the most of the opportunities that you were given. And I think Jamal Hill does that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously after Ankalaev Blachowicz, they were going to have to drop down a little. I think Hill's more than adequate. And, you know, this is a fucking coin flip. So, yeah, fair play to Jamal. All right. Do you want to move on to the trilogy in 4 parts?
Oh, man. I think this should have still been the main event, even though they're the little guys. That's just my personal opinion. But I think in terms of prestige, this fight has got so much more than the main event. The main event is for a vacant title and involves a former champ and a guy that maybe has lucked his way into it. This is history in the making, man. For the first time in the UFC, 2 guys are going to have fought each other 4 times, all in the space of about, just about over 2 years? I think 2. December 2020 through to January 2023. So about 2 years and 2 months. They are 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 loss each. Every single fight has been for the belt. And they both get to step in for this 4th fight, calling themselves a champion. And every single fight that they've had has been wildly entertaining. We've had 2 extremely close fights and 1 outstanding performance from Brandon Moreno. Obviously, Figueiredo is coming in to this with the win, which is always good for confidence, but he's also been injured and not fought since the last fight last January. Brandon Moreno, on the flip side, has had a fight in between, become the interim champion, defeated a dangerous guy in Cara, France, but has had a lot to deal with the whole James Krause situation, who had become his head coach. So he's had to make adjustments. Ultimately, for me, Josh, do you want to go first or would you like me to go first?
I mean, we're going the same, so it doesn't really matter too much, but we both think Moreno is going to edge this one.
Yeah, and the main decider for me is I think Brandon Moreno's gone. I think he's a really smart guy. And I think for that 3rd trilogy fight with the last fight against Figueiredo, the trilogy, he was so confident. He basically had a whole local crowd behind his back coming across from Mexico. And I think he was just a little bit arrogant. I think he thought, I beat this guy so dominantly. I really schooled him in the rematch. You know, I've got his number. And I think he got a surprise by Davison, who changed his tactics, had that kind of Cejudo karate style. I think Brandon Moreno is going to learn from that. I think he's coming in with confidence, having got that win against Cara France in between. And Figueiredo's a year older, 35, more injuries. It's a tough weight cut for him. There's a lot of factors that come into this that make me think Brandon Moreno can get this done.
Yeah, well, the other big thing is kind of looking at on the flip side. Figueiredo really took that 3rd fight a lot more seriously, and I think he did the first 2. Looked to be in much better shape for it. Did look like he kind of got a little big while out. I don't know. I haven't seen pictures of him recently. I should take a look before I make any kind of aspersions. But a year older, the weight cut doesn't get easier. So I don't know. It's a coin flip. I've got Moreno. Almost tempted to change just to get more separation, but fuck it. I felt pretty good about going Moreno. I think having the extra fight in there does help as well. Always
Yeah,
good to be busy.
absolutely. But I'm absolutely pumped for it, man. That is my number one fight I'm looking forward to. Cannot wait. History in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
making.
yeah,
Let's,
absolutely.
and to quote the great American line, let's go, Brandon.
What's that from?
Oh, it's basically there was a like NASCAR rally when just shortly after Biden got elected, and the whole crowd was saying, chanting "Fuck you, Biden," and the commentators said, "Oh no, 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 that's them just saying let's go, Brandon," and it became this kind of like meme for like the alt right.
Uh, it's pretty creative thinking on the spot by the commentator, though. I
Yeah, I
can't
can't
believe
remember.
anyone would have fallen for that, but
I don't know if it was the commentator or somebody afterwards, but whoever tried to come up with that is like, I respect that. I respect what you were trying to do.
I only respect if it was on the spot in the moment. If someone had any amount of time to think about that, shoot that idiot.
Well, moving on very quickly to Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny. Let's be honest, the only reason this fight is happening is because Gilbert Burns basically fucking begged every single other person ahead of Neil Magny in the rankings to fight him, and they all said no. And my pick is very simple. There's a reason why all of those motherfuckers did not want to fight this guy. It's because he's a pretty scary fucking dude. Credit to Neil
Yeah,
Magny. He will fight anybody. And that is the reason that he has got 10 losses on his record.
yeah, yeah. But he does have some interesting moments. I don't think it's going to go very well for him in this one, though. You know, he has shown a chin before. He has shown the ability to, get violent when backed into a corner. I don't think Gilbert Burns is going to give him any opportunity to kind of rally from a bad moment. He's going to tap him or he's going to sleep him. There's just no in between for me. Magnes is a great vet, awkward guy to fight, very hard to come out a decision. Get on the right end of a decision against Magny, he'll really make you work for it. Burns isn't going to need to worry about that. I think first round, maybe second.
The issue for Magny is, I mean, the advantage he's got, Gilbert Burns obviously former lightweight. Magny's tall for the division. He's long for the division. That will be hard for Gilbert Burns to figure out. But he's so explosive and he's so dangerous in two different aspects of MMA. And the way that Magny likes to fight, anything on the grounds is going to be danger zone. And that's usually where Magny kind of likes to get guys and feel comfortable. Gilbert Burns is not somebody that will lie on his back and accept a position either. He is constantly either attacking submissions or looking for ways to get up and working. The explosivity, the speed is going to be really hard for Magny to deal with. The only position where I think he'd be able to have success is clinch up against the cage. And even then, it's like
I feel like Burns is going to be way too powerful for him, and I think the stockier frame is going to work out well for Burns
exactly.
against the fence. I mean, let's be honest, man. After fighting Kimaev and going the distance, it's like it's really like coming into to an amateur sparring session by comparison. So just in terms of the physicality of Magny, I think Burns is just going to burn through him from the inside. He's not really going to have to worry about getting past too too many dangerous weapons coming in. Just stuff that's going to outpoint you if you do go a distance.
Yeah, and he's in Brazil, hungry, being desperate for a fight. This is going to be a Gilbert Burns that's motivated. I think I agree with you. First couple of rounds, no question.
I
On
feel
to
the
another
same
fight.
around the next one.
I was just about to say rinse and repeat. Jessica Andrade versus Lauren Murphy. Lauren Murphy deserves a lot of credit for getting as far as she's done at flyweight with the physical tools at her disposal and the age that she started. But Jessica Andrade is a goddamn fucking axe murdering, axe wielding lunatic. And she's going to murder Lauren Murphy.
Oh yeah, yeah. This would be quick. It can't go on too long. I mean, even she's not really catching her with anything clean, like. the ref's gonna have a word at some point.
There's nowhere that
I
Lauren
feel
Murphy's
bad for
better.
her.
There's nowhere that Lauren Murphy's better. She can't outstrike her. She's not stronger. I don't think she's going to outgrapple her. This will be, yeah. And again in Brazil, it's like try picking against a fucking Brazilian in Brazil.
I am actually going to do that a couple times today, and you're going to do it.
I've done it
at
twice.
least twice.
I've done it twice already, but it's not easy.
Yeah, I'm
the
sure.
slightest.
I'm sure there's another one we've gone together somewhere. Have we not?
Well, my
Well, I
next
mean,
one's
the
about
all
to go
the all
against a-
Brazilian matchups, obviously.
Well, the next matchup is going to be an example of this. We get our next points of separation. Paul Craig returns to take on Johnny Walker. You need to go first and explain yourself.
Well, this one's a coin flip for me. Can Paul Craig triangle Johnny Walker before Johnny Walker can drop Paul Craig with some heavy shots? I mean, the big knock against Walker is that he can't take shots very well. And Paul Craig, it's not like he's entirely one dimensional. I'm sure he will be able to fuck up Walker a little bit and keep it somewhat even looking on the feet until Walker can land something nasty. But Craig's going to have to take this one down to the ground. It's just going to open up opportunities for Walker to explode. He is faster. He is longer. He has got the ability to switch off his lights. I still feel like it's a toss up because Walker's that well, not bad, but just not. He's I don't feel he's really on Paul Craig's level. I just feel it's a bad matchup for Craig. It is in Brazil. And one would hope that John Cavan has been able to teach Walker enough to be able to kind of halfway stay out of the triangle. Who knows?
Yeah, just to clarify, I don't actually think Paul Craig's got much of a hope of winning. I think this is a really bad fight for him. Johnny Walker is 6'6". The man is a fucking giant. I don't even know how you get close to that guy without being hit with something. He has his flaws, but Paul Craig's skill set is not best placed to take advantage of that. But I'm picking Paul Craig because I'm goddamn patriotic. And sometimes that shit happens. And you know what? Paul Craig has beaten better fighters than Johnny Walker. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That is what I will say on that matter. We're on to the prelims. We'll go through these a bit more quickly, but we will touch on the quote unquote last fight of Shogun Rua, taking on, Ihor Potieria, which is just like the UFC saying, we want you to retire. We're going to make sure that this retirement sticks this time. You've been saying that you're 2 fights away from retirement for your last 8 bloody fights. We finally got you to say this is the last one. There can't be another last one. So we're going to give you a pretty scary guy that we think could be a good prospect so that he can knock you out. You can get a nice goodbye in Brazil and he can steal your hype.
Yeah, kind of. Who knows? Like, Pottiera did lose his debut. Shogun has been known to roll back the years.
This is true.
I'm just trying to make it sound exciting for me. I think Pottieri is like a pretty reasonable favorite on this one as well.
He should be.
I didn't pick with my heart. I picked with my head.
You're going Rua?
No,
no, you said
no.
you're going Pottieri.
No, I'm taking the smart money. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I hate to pick against Rua, but his time, unfortunately, was a long time ago. Hopefully it's not too bad and he gets a nice goodbye in Brazil. We'll see.
Yeah, right. It's been a hell of a run.
Yeah,
all
the
right.
guys.
Speed round.
Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira.
Robocop
as well. Thiago Moises taking on Melquiziel Costa.
Yeah. Even if I was going to pick him, wouldn't say that name again. That looks quite hard to pronounce. Thiago Moises
as well. Gabriel Bonfirm taking on Munir Lizez.
I am still a bit of a Lizez fan, but I'm going to go Bonfirm on this one.
My sentiments exactly. I hate picking against Lizez. We were so high on him when we first saw him.
Yeah, I think he still is a talented fighter. Bonfim's got a bit of height though. Brazilian in Brazil. Yeah.
Hard to stop. Shamil Abdurakhimov taking on Jelton Almeida. Josh.
Abdurakhimov is a fucking huge dog in this fight, and I am going to put a bit of money on him and a bit of money on Shogun. But yeah, look, Jelton Almeida, even though if he is a fucking tweener, he's just been very, very scary. Abdurakhimov is definitely the most dangerous guy we're going to have watched him fight so far, but I expect he should be able to dispatch him. I think he's like a fucking 10-1 favorite. It's ridiculous.
Okay, that's a little bit heavy for a guy whose last fight was.
I can't remember, but Parker Porter was like 2 fights ago.
Yeah, and after that it was, and he's had a lot of fights cancelled as well. Yeah, I'm picking Jason Almeida, but Abdurakhimov kind of been forgotten about after he got knocked out by Chris Daukaus. Still dangerous, but I think Almeida has this in the bag. Luan Lacerda taking on Cody Stamen.
Lacerda
as well. I hate picking against Cody, but again, I'm just factoring in Brazil element there as the deciding factor. Ismail Bonfirm taking on Terence McKinney. Bonfim, even, sorry, Bonfim.
Yeah, we've both gone with T-Rex on this one. I mean, fan favorite. I knew that. Well, I didn't know. I was hoping you would go Paul Craig. This one though, I couldn't pick against T-Rex on this one. Fuck the whole Brazilian and Brazil adage. T-Rex gets it done.
Doesn't apply to T-Rex. T-Rex is crazy.
Exactly.
It does, however, apply for me with Wally Alves taking on Nicholas Dalby, and I'm going Wally Alves.
Same. Dalby's really getting up in age now as well. And as much as I love watching him fight, I never kind of go into it with the expectation he's going to win. I just hope that it's going to be a great performance.
Enough said. Josiane Nunes taking on Zara Fern dos Santos. Easy pick for me. Nunes all day.
Yep. I think she's a reasonable favorite here as well.
Yeah, we're not exactly rocking the boat on this one. And bantamweight, Simon Oliveira taking on Daniel Marcos. I'm going to go with the undefeated Marcos. I'm going to be honest, know little about either guy other than Oliveira lost to Gravely.
Yeah, basically. Both of them got one win in the UFC. Not too much to go off of. I've got Marcos.
That is the card. 14 fights. How many fights is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 15. 15 fights in total. Holy shit. We're in for a treat and a long ass fucking night. Are you watching it live, or are you going to be watching it Sunday morning?
What is actually the start time for us on this one?
It's going to be midnight for the prelims, early prelims, 2 a.m. for the prelims, 4 a.m. for the main card. It's going to be simultaneously on during the Eagles game, I believe.
Yeah. So if I do stay up, I'll be watching the Eagles game. No, I'll definitely be watching this one Sunday.
Very nice. Well, Josh will be watching Sunday morning. I'll be watching Saturday night. You guys will be watching whenever you decide to watch, and we hope you'll enjoy the fights. Leave your picks in the comments section. Best of luck with your own picks, and we'll catch you next time, next week for the breakdown. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Take care.
Bye, Laurie. Bye, Dave.